Hello, it's Rob from Fountain Pen Journey. I'm going to do a pen rotation video. It's been a while since I did one of these. Main reason being is that I don't rotate my pens a massive amount. If I get something new, then it ends up in the pen rotation and it tends to get used for a few weeks and then gets reviewed or put away depending on where I am with whatever it is I'm doing. But sometimes my pen rotation, either at home or at work, reaches a sort of point where some of the pens have been in use for several weeks or months, and that's when I do the video, so I know exactly what to expect from the pen, I know how it performs, I know how it handles, all the rest of it. So this is a few months in the making, but this is the sort of outcome of several months of using the pens, trying out different things and seeing how they write. So let's go through the pens. We'll start off. Almost all of these pens I have already reviewed. So these are pens which I've had for a while, or they've been reviewed recently, but they're still in my pen rotation. I still have this habit of refilling them because sometimes I just enjoy using some pens and I enjoy using some inks. And therefore the pens don't get cleaned, and therefore new pens don't enter the pen rotation to take the place. So, one of my everyday favourites, the TWSBI Go. This is the smoke grey finish. I like this pen because it holds a fairly decent amount of ink, and it's quite easy to clean. It's quite quick to clean, put it that way. It's got this plunger mechanism, which I shall just show you if you haven't seen my review of this pen. So that unscrews, and you've got this sort of syringe type plunger on a spring, which you push up and down, and it takes ink through into the, I don't know, suppose you can call this the barrel of the pen, but it's an area just behind the section. There's an ink reservoir. So you push that up and down and it squirts and sucks. So yeah, quick to clean, tricky to clean, I must admit, because it's not easy to do this one-handed. This spring is quite strong, but it's doable, but it is a bit faffy. A weaker spring wouldn't work, because I have had occasions where this spring doesn't have enough, I don't know, force behind it to draw the piston back up, depending on what I'm doing. But anyway, TWSBI Go. So let's see how the pen's write and see what inks that I'm using at this moment as well. Let's get a blank page in my what's this, Moleskine notebook. Okay, so the date today is the 26th of October. Okay, so the first pen, this pen here is a TWSBI Go. Medium nib. And the ink is Pure Pens Glenzavan Trim. Pure Pens, they have their own range of inks, mainly based on Celtic and, if you like, sort of, I don't know, English, British history, Irish history, Scottish history, places, things like that. So you'll see another one of their inks in a moment. Pure Pens inks are made by Diamine, so good quality ink. This green is quite I'd say it's more of a sort of Irish green, which is completely is exactly what it is, Glenzavan Trim. It's not a particularly bright green. It's a really nice darkish olive green, very much like sort of the green that you'll see on the side of a, I don't know, rainy mountainside in Ireland. It's a very nice ink with good shading. So there's the TWSBI Go. Next pen, this thing. Now this thing is a complete conundrum. I purchased it as a Wingsong 6359, which it clearly didn't turn out to be. The Wingsong 6359 is a metal bodied and capped pen, and what I got appears to be a Jinhao 599. Normally what you see is the logo on the flat sides of the barrel here and here. I bought several of these pens in different metallic colours. Now I have a feeling that Jinhao is actually selling the 599, which is probably this pen, as a unbranded pen, and certain resellers, retailers are picking it up. Some of them are trying to call this a Wingsong 6359. It is not. It is definitely not. This is a very cheap plastic pen. It's attractive, you know, it looks like a Jinhao 599 for every intent and purpose as far as I'm concerned, and performs just as well. It is available in a range of colours. I think even some of the UK pen retailers online, I think Cult Pens or Pure Pens, they sell the Jinhao 599 in some completely different finishes, which are sort of two-tone, like one half red, one half purple, metallic, blended into each other. This is the sort of, I bought this as a champagne colour, but I'd say it's much more of a gold colour. So I'd say that this is a Jinhao 599. I have even seen this pen marketed as a Yiren, Y-I-R-E-N, Yiren fountain pen, but I do believe quite strongly that this is a Jinhao 599, minus any branding. Whoever manufactures it obviously doesn't care, because they're going to sell dozens of these, and they're very, very, very inexpensive. This is one of the cheapest pens there is around. Comes with a fine steel nib, which is the Lamy style nib. There we go, fine on there. So it's got these winged things. So, second pen. Now, I'm going to just call this a Jinhao 599 because I believe that is what it is. I'm going to also put in brackets for people Wingsong 6359, because that's what I was sold it as. And sometimes even marketed as a Yiren fountain pen. And the ink, Pure Pens again. Let's move this up a bit. Pendine Sans, which at first, to be honest, this ink, I didn't really think too much of it. I'm not a fan of really pale yellow, orange, brown inks. I think they're just washed out looking. They look weak, like on rather badly diluted tea. However, this one, even though it's quite a pale colour, it's not very saturated. It's got really, really lovely shading. It's a very nice ink, and bearing in mind this is a fine nib fountain pen, I think in a very wet or broader nib this really, really could be quite an attractive ink. Much darker, obviously. So yeah, Pendine Sans, Pure Pens Pendine Sans, very nice ink. Pop that to one side. Right, it's autumn, so I always have an orange ink in rotation at some point somewhere. This of course is one of my favourites. So the pen, unless you can if you don't recognise this pen, this is also one of my favourites. It's a Kaweco Ice Sport. Medium steel nib. The ink is diamine Sunset, which is a very, very nice saturated free-flowing orange ink. Very colourful. One of my favourites. I've had this pen eyedroppered for well over a year now. Keep filling it up. Never ends up out of my pen rotation. Next pen, Bauke. Now this is the Bauke PM128, and I did a review of this pen not very long ago, and it is, for the price, absolutely spectacular. Medium nib, steel, Pure Pens again, another one of their inks. So, Bauke PM128 with Pure Pens Celtic Sea. This ink is absolutely gorgeous. Really, really lovely shading. I love this blue colour. It really, really is a very nice blue. It's dark but not oversaturated. It's a bright, colourful blue. It's wonderful. This really is one of my favourite inks. This is a sample that I got either free with a purchase from Pure Pens or part of the collection, because they do a range of their inks in little samples. You get 5mm samples, something like that. So you get the whole set to try. Pendine Sands was one, Celtic Sea was another, and quite honestly, yes, I can see myself buying a bottle of this. Really, really nice. Same pen, basically. This is the Bauke PM126 medium nib, which the only difference I can tell between the 128, which is that pen that I've just used, and the 126 is the fact that the 128 comes in this silver colour and the 126 comes in gold. But they're very attractive metal pens. For the price, I mean, these are, dirt cheap, stupidly cheap, but really, really good quality. I'm absolutely stunned about how well these pens perform. The converters are all right, but these are really, really good writers. 5, okay. So the Bauke PM126, gold coloured metal pen. I have a horrible feeling that this gold finish will eventually rub off. I don't know, I just get the feeling it's not been very well anodized. I don't know, but you know, I think that's part of the charm. These pens look quite sort of late 20th century, contemporary. They're very attractive and very functional pens. This is another one of the Pure Pens inks. And this is Saltire. Or Saltire Blue, I think you sometimes do see it listed as. Yeah, it's a sort of darkish blue, flows reasonably well. Not as well as some of the other ones, bearing in mind this is another diamine created ink. It's not the sort of blue I'd normally choose. This is the sort of blue colour, which is why I don't use fountain pens, because it looks like a ballpoint. Nothing spectacular about that. Right, here we go. Recognise the pen? Jinhao 159. Very, very, very cheap Chinese fountain pen. Now, why has it got this finish? If you haven't seen my channel before, I I actually custom made this finish. Head back through my videos. If you want to quickly find things like my videos, I have on my channel playlists. So if you go to my Fountain Pen Journey channel, there's videos at the top with a tab, and then you'll see playlists. Now in those playlists you'll see all the pen reviews that I've done. I log them by pen reviews, which is the big playlist, and also break it down by manufacturer. So I've put this into the how-to guides, because this is something that I did myself, because I wanted a very inexpensive, or basically free, Benu pen. I'm not willing to pay Benu's prices. I don't like the design of some of their pens, even though I do like the materials. So I did this myself, and I'm actually quite surprised. This has been a bit of an everyday writer for me, and this finish, it just isn't coming off. I thought it might be chipping or something by now, but it really isn't. So this has turned into a bit of an everyday carry. Not outside of the house, but certainly for a quick, easy pen to pick up and write with. So, Jinhao 159, medium nib, and this ink is Jinhao ink. This is Jinhao Blue. I bought a whole stack of the various Jinhao coloured cartridges, and I've been quite happy with them. They're unremarkable colours. If you want a blue ink, it's a blue ink. To be honest, I actually prefer it to pure pen Saltire. It's wetter, it flows better, it's darker. Yeah, but it's not an ink for me. I'm using it purely because it actually just fits with the pen. It does the job. If I need a quick pen to pick up and write with, this is the one I often go for at the moment. So that is that one. Now there are a lot of Jinhaos in this video, so I shall go back to the Jinhao Dragon pen. So this is the Jinhao Dragon number 90 series with a fine nib. And yeah, it's a hugely ornate, massive clunky pen, looks like something out of Lord of the Rings. Screw off cap, weighs a ton. Dragon has genuine Sri Lankan rubies for eyes. I'm sure it does. Cap screws on, and that becomes one big, heavy pen. But it's still actually quite comfortable to write with. I've been using this pen quite a lot because it's just good fun to use. So, Jinhao, let me get this right. So, this is how it was sold to me. Jinhao Dragon, which is pretty obvious, number 90 series. With a fine nib, and the ink is another Jinhao ink. This is Jinhao Green. Now, I found this ink to be, it's green, it's bright, but rather unremarkable. There is some shading in there. I'm not saying it's a terrible ink, but you know, the blue ink is blue, the green ink, it's green. There's not a lot to say about it. To be honest, I don't think that the Jinhao inks are value for money in the same way that the pens are. I think I can't remember what price I paid for the full collection of Jinhao ink cartridges, but it wasn't very spectacular, the price. Apologies, just had to pause the video for a moment to sort something out. So anyway, Jinhao 90, Dragon number 90 series, big heavy pen. But it's not the biggest or the heaviest. What did I get? I got the Jinhao number 18 Pagoda series. And this is just, I mean, this, yeah. side by side with the Jinhao Dragon. I mean, this is completely over the top. I mean, you can barely tell what anything is on here, but huge pen. Yeah. Lots and lots of metal. That's, for some weird reason, and I always do this, this pen is a clip-on push-off cap. I always expect something like this to be, you know, metal on metal threads. No. I mean, the cap weighs an absolute ton. So this is a strange pen, which doesn't post particularly well, and this one is uncomfy and unwieldy. So this one, so Jinhao number 18 Pagoda. And this is a fine nib. The ink, got a very Jinhao themed pen rotation video for you. Jinhao Orange. I find that this is a colourful enough, bright enough orange, but on some papers it is weak. There is a bit of shading, but it's a little bit washed out. So I'll just put these 3 Jinhao coloured inks together there and pop the pen there. What do I say about the Jinhao inks? They're okay. They're inexpensive, they're unremarkable. What's good about them is that they wash out of pens really quickly, really easily. They don't do any damage. So if you are worried about using a sort of, you know, Chinese branded ink in your fountain pens, the Jinhao inks, provided they are Jinhao and they're not some company trading and sticking their inks into Jinhao boxes or something, these inks seem absolutely fine. They're just not very interesting, but they do clean out okay. So if you've got any concerns about that, then there you go. Don't worry about it too much. So that's the Jinhao number 18 Pagoda series. Next pen. This was also sold to me as a Jinhao number 18 Pagoda series, but this one is called the lacquered red finish, or no, red lacquered finish, which has got the Jinhao sword clip, this sort of pagoda roof finial on the top, Jinhao, and yeah, nothing particularly extravagant about this one. Let's just try and move everything out of the way without trashing the place. This pen does have a tendency to burp ink, because when I'm putting it into my pen pot, this mug that I use, the copper mug for my pen rotation at home, with these pens it often drops down, and then of course that jerks ink out of the feed and onto the nib. Jinhao number 18 Pagoda series. Red lacquered. This is medium nib, and the ink is Diamine Brilliant Red. Which is, you know, it's an orangey red, it's quite attractive, does the job. Good pen. This is a quality Jinhao. I'm going to talk a bit about that in the videos, the reviews of these pens, when I do those two. Chinese theme carries on. Here we go, we have a Wing Song vacuum filling fountain pen. I'm just going to unscrew that a minute, let the vacuum break the seal. Okay, so the Wing Song, oops, 3013 with a fine nib, and the ink is a J.O. and this is Verdi Gris, which I have been using this pen a lot for drawing because it's got a very, very fine nib, and this ink gives pretty good shading. It's yeah, it's a good one. I like it. It's not piston, it's vacuum filler fountain pen. So you can see in here the rod and the ink, and this feels like a premium quality fountain pen. Very nice pen. Only really available in fine. I have seen a few medium nibbed ones around. I think Troy LaPlante bought some a couple of months ago at least, maybe even longer ago, with medium nibs, and he found that the medium nibs were absolutely rubbish, and they were also more expensive, so I withheld that. I thought, no, I'll just buy the cheapest Wingsong 3013s that I can find, and if they come with a fine nib, then yeah, I'll just use that. So yeah, perfectly happy with this pen. Very, very nice pen. This pen is still in my rotation. It's yet another Jinhao, and I'm just rolling it around because I've still got a shimmer ink in there, which I really, really enjoy using. This, when I stop rotating it, is the Jinhao Dancing Horses design fountain pen. So you've got these dancing horses from a painting, which one of my subscribers actually pointed out to me as a well-known Chinese painting. I'm not well up on my Chinese stuff. I didn't know that. I just thought it was a very nice design. So he has the print, or she has, I'm not going to be judgmental on sex or anything, but they have their print, this print on their wall, and I really like it. So I've got the pen, so I thought, well, yeah, that's nice. I like this sort of Chinese art. So, pen number 11. As you can see, I have got a bit of a issue with this pen rotation, because this is where it ends up so big. You get a few pens that you really want to use, and they end up being the main pens for many, many months, and you end up with loads in use all at once. But I do use all of these pens. I'd say that there's not a pen in this lot which doesn't get used once every 2 to 3 days. And this is a fine nib. And the ink, it's another J.O. ink. And this is Gris Orage. And I love this ink. This is wonderful, wonderful ink. And if you haven't seen my review of this pen and the ink that I used in it, you'll see why I love this ink so much. Let's try not to knock anything. There we go. Very, very, very shimmery, sparkly ink. Grey, dark grey with gold shimmer. And this, yeah, really lovely. Very, very nice. Obviously, quite a lot of the gold shimmer had settled down into the nib. So the Jinhao Dancing Horses design is very, very saturated with gold sparkles. But the rest of it is just really attractive. Really, really nice. Love it. Next pen. It's another Twisby, and this is another vacuum filling fountain pen. It's the TWSBI Vac Mini. But, you know, once you've screwed the, posted the cap onto the barrel end, you've got a decently sized fountain pen. TWSBI Go? No, it isn't. TWSBI Vac Mini. And this is a 1.1mm stub. And this ink, absolutely love this ink. Noodler's Black Swan in Australian Roses. Really, really, really lovely red purple ink. Really great. Absolutely love it. And this 1.1mm stub, you can see, you know, the downstrokes very fine, cross strokes very broad. Very, very good. I like this, and it's a nice smooth nib as well. This is a TWSBI nib. And I'll probably buy more of their pens with these 1.1mm stub nibs. I found this pen to be really good, really reliable. I do like TWSBI pens. So, yeah, there we go. There's the TWSBI Vac Mini. Getting there, almost there. Number 13. One of my favourite pens, vintage pens, because you can officially call these things vintage now, even though they are from the 70s and 80s. There are modern versions around. It's the Schaefer No Nonsense. This one has a medium nib, and the ink is a Krishna ink. Krishna Wild Cherry. Oops. Which is a nice reddish pink ink. And this pen is so reliable. These never let you down. They're really, really good. Solidly built, old school pens. Very traditional, flat tops, square tops. Yeah, ball clip. Perfectly functional. Yeah, brilliant pens. If you're going to buy Chinese pens, you know, they're inexpensive. If you're going to buy a vintage pen, these are inexpensive too, and they're so good. They do take proprietary cartridges. Just buy a pack of Schaefer cartridges. I find Schaefer inks really good anyway. Use those, and then you can just flush them out with an ink syringe and reuse them and refill them with whatever ink you like. So, next pen. Still in my pen rotation. Many, many, many months from when it first entered the rotation. This one's probably going to hard start a little bit. Oh no, it doesn't. It's so reliable. This is why I love these pens so much. Oops, it's just caught on the edge of the paper there. So this one is the broad italic, or italic broad nib on the Schaefer No Nonsense. And I just love pairing this yellow with the black ink. And the ink is, Schaefer Script Classic Black. Love it. Really dark, matte black ink. Very, very good. Flows amazingly. Considering this broad italic nib just absolutely drinks ink. Yeah, fantastic pen, fantastic everything. Great, great value. Final pen. Now I'm going to have to refer to my notes. let me just show you the pen. Beautiful pen. You can see it on the clip there. Ranga. So this is a Ranga pen from India. And this has been, from the moment I inked it up, one of my favourite pens. Well worth every single penny. Really, really lovely material, lovely pen, good size, good design. However, you know, there are different Ranga pens out there. They do all sorts of different models. So I shall write down exactly what this one is. So this is the Ranga Model 4. So it's the Ranga Model 4, and the acrylic, the material, the colour, is Aqua Cracked Ice. Right, now the nib, steel nib, nothing spectacular, keeps the cost low, is a Bock steel nib, and this one is broad. Really, really lovely pen to write with. Drinks ink like nobody's business. And the ink is a Robert Oster ink. Robert Oster Blue Denim, which is another one of my favourite blue inks. So lovely, lovely pen. I believe this one is now getting very, very low on ink, and it will probably end up being filled yet again. So I shall soon have likely have no blue denim ink left very soon. Now you see this blue ink, love it. Just turn back to the previous page. Oops, get it back into the camera. Pure Pens Celtic Sea, love it. Pure Pen Saltire, Ginhao Blue, nah, no, don't love those. So these are the reasons that I got away from blue inks and got into fountain pens, and then ended up collecting blue inks, which I really, really like. So Pure Pens Celtic Sea, yeah, that's definitely one. And Robert Oster Blue Denim. So those are the pens and the inks that I've been using, and they are due to be rotated, so I will have another one of these coming up in the next couple of, well, I'd say probably the next 6 weeks or so. So stay tuned for that. Thanks very much for watching. Hope you found it interesting, and I'll see you next time. Bye.